Hello and welcome to Kajabi in 5 minutes. Today, I'm going to be talking about the community product. And I want to talk about this because with the new update to all of the Kajabi plans, the community and unlimited access groups is included. This used to be a product that would come out of your product quota for every access group. And that was just kind of a lot as a Kajabi user to just use up product quota on access groups. But now not only is the community not part of that product quota, but you get unlimited access groups in every plan, Kickstarter to Pro. And so it's worth talking about the community because it's just kind of a standard now. And again, Kajabi in their big evolution, they wanted to make their product more in line what creators needed. And community engagement is a big deal for anyone trying to build an audience and a brand and a business online selling their stuff. So the community product, it's still something you have to start. It's not just always there. If you don't ever go start it, it's not going to be there. So you do have to go into products in the menu and then either all products or community. And from there, you can jump right into it. You're going to need an access group. And the access group is, think of that as a user group inside the community. The best way to probably start is just by making an access group and considering that your community. What that means is anyone in that group is going to be able to use the functions in your community. So if you think of this from the back-end side in a more technical way, if you're, say, selling an offer in Kajabi and you are, selling these different things, if you want somebody to have access to your community, you need to put the access group in the product list of what that offer provides. And then that person, when they go through the checkout page, will be included in that access group. And then when they're in the community product, their access group will determine what features in the community they can have. But with unlimited access groups, you're now able to have lots of different levels of access in your community. And not to make it complicated on purpose, or not to make it more than what you actually need or should do, but you can now have different levels of engagement. So you can have an access group that's free. That is basically like a landing place for anyone who comes into your funnel if you want. Instead of, engaging with people on Facebook groups and trying to build an audience there, you can now build that audience right inside of Kajabi, where you're automatically getting their email and they're automatically getting used to your ecosystem and having a login profile in your system. Those barriers are great to just kind of chip away at so that when the time comes to sell something, it's really easy for a person because they already have a username and a password. They already know how to log into your stuff. All of those things, they're already familiar with that. Now it's just, let's just grab this. Let's just grab that. Instead of bringing someone in and having them mentally being like, well, do I want to create an account with this person just to get that? Those types of mental barriers are already old news. And so that's something you can do with your community. You can use it as the free landing place for all of your audience to come, where they then get nurtured into becoming customers. And then at the same time, you can have a paid tier or 2 or 3, however many you want, paid tiers of content in the community. Maybe something you do is you come into your community every week and you coach or you answer questions. You're just there to hang out. That could be something that people have to pay for. And again, the mechanics of that is there's another offer and there's a different access group that's attached to that offer. And then when someone goes through that checkout page, they now have that access group. And so from a technical perspective, they now are a part of 2 access groups, the free access group and this level 1, this tiered access group. So they have more content. And you can do that as much as makes sense for your business. Now, inside the community, well, it's hard to talk about because there's just so much stuff. The community is just a really big and robust, and it can be kind of technical and complicated as well, just because there's so much it can do. I have heard from some users that it's kind of glitchy in certain situations. But I've only heard that from some users, and I know lots of people who use it. And so, while yes, there are some glitches, um, I know that Kajabi is really investing a lot into the community. And so those glitches should be happening less and less, and things should be getting ironed out more and more. And it's usable. I know lots of people who use the community, so it is a very usable product. Inside of it, you can do lots of things. You can chat, you can have forums, you can have video messaging, you can have big rooms, you can do one-on-one messaging. You can invite just one person into the room to just have a one-on-one. It can be an open group. When I say room, I mean like a video message. You can direct chat. You can have challenges. You can have a leaderboard for, based off of points that you assign to people for doing stuff in the community. You can have meetups. People can RSVP, all sorts of stuff. You can change what things are named. You can add content in if you've got a website or a course or a page or a YouTube playlist or something. You can bring that into your community as well as a new page. There's really just a lot that you can do. There's just a lot. And so if you're thinking about using the community, my advice is always create an access group and just go in and just see what can be done. Just click around. There's a bunch of settings. There's a lot of control. If you want to change the name that shows up with the emojis when they show up, you can do that. You can create a user guideline so that when someone first comes in, they have to read the guidelines and hit, yes, I agree. All sorts of things. So just get in there and just see what you can see. If you've got some people that are working with you on your team, or maybe you have some friends or somebody, have them create an account and come in at the user side. It's a great idea for you to create an account as a user. Grant yourself access to that product. So now you can see from a client, from a user perspective, what this community looks like. If you're going to do that, make sure you don't use the email that you use to log in as an administrator to a Kajabi. To get into the back end, use a separate email. And when you are coming into it as a user or a customer, do it in a different browser or in a private or incognito window. If you don't do that, then there's a good chance the cookies in your browser that you use as an administrator to go into the back end of Kajabi and do stuff are going to mess up your customer experience using the same email or using the same browser. So anyways, just test it out and see what it's going to be like. And that's the best way that you can come to know what it can do and just how it works. One last point about the community is Kajabi recently redid their mobile. So there's no longer an app for courses and an app for the community. There's just one app, and you can get your courses and your community in there. So this is a huge improvement for your clients who may have bought a course from you that may include some community engagement or something. It's now in one app experience, which is awesome. So this is all, new or revamped things that Kajabi has done since their Kajabi Evolved release update in September. And the community is worth exploring if you've got a community that you're trying to build. So take care. I will see you next week for some more Kajabi bits. And yeah, enjoy.